Megan Hicks of I Run Far, and I'm with Sam McCutcheon. It's a day before the 2018 Tarawera Ultramarathon. I'm back and covering this race, and you're back and running this race. You were third place last year. How's it going?
Yeah, I suppose it's going as good as it can be. I'm excited to be back in Rotorua. I've had a hectic time over the Christmas New Year period. Not as much running, but been doing a lot. Been trying to catch up, and here we are.
Yeah, so you're a newlywed. You've been busy getting married.
Yeah, which is actually harder and takes a lot more time than I thought. Despite my wife saying she did everything. So it was really good. We got married mid-January, fantastic, and had a cool time. And then after the wedding, realised that Tarawera was a couple of weeks away. So bit of a crash course fitness regime, and let's go.
Is that right? So after you got married in mid-January, early January?
13th of January, actually. Yeah.
So you did a little bit of training really quick and then a quick taper?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like I was zero before it, but it was. We had the wedding, and then I had a week around the North Island, which is fantastic. But lots of good wine, lots of good food. Not as much quality running.
So you're saying you're fresh?
I'm fresh, yeah, real fresh.
Real fresh. So take me back to a year ago. You came into Tarawera, which was an internationally competitive race last year with lots of national level results. A little bit of trail running, some road running, diversity of stuff. And it seems like you've been doing some more trail and ultra stuff in the last year?
Yeah, so I've tried to get a bit more of that experience. It's awesome racing. Coming to Tarawera is awesome because you race, some of the best runners, Jim and Jonas and Dave and stuff. It was fantastic. And so we did as well as the local New Zealand races, we managed to get a couple of weeks in Europe last year. Seeing how they go, and they go really well. but it was fantastic. We did Transvolcania, and we did the Maxi race in Annecy, and then also came back and did some local stuff here. And the same as you said, mixing up, trying to keep up with the road guys. I think trying being the key word, but still good. It's good to sort of keep a foot in both camps.
Emphasize try.
Yeah. Good to keep a foot in both camps, and so it brings me back here, and the start of 2018.
Yeah, so I remember when I interviewed you a year ago after you finished third, you said, I want to go to Europe, I want to try European racing. So you went to the Canary Islands, raced Transvolcania, and then you went to France and raced the Maxi race. What'd you think of the Euro trail ultra scene?
Oh, it's fantastic. And that, the races are just incredibly well supported by competitors and just people in the general area. Every family's having a barbecue on the side of the course. They're super into it. They're also super good. And I think that really highlights the difference in the styles of running. So I found Transvolcania really technical, which probably isn't my forte.
Okay.
So I was getting smashed coming down that volcano, just because
the final long descent, you mean?
Yeah. So whatever that, from the high point down to the beach,
right.
And it was fine. It was awesome. It was still a cool, amazing experience, but it was just tough. And it shows you all these different skills that I need to develop and work on.
So having gone there, and I mean Transvolcania, I think you were like inside the top 30.
Yeah.
And then Maxi race inside the top 5.
Yeah.
Did that show you like your potential? Did it show you, okay, here's where I can come back to New Zealand and work on things? Like, does that make you want to go out and try again? Yeah. What was going through your head?
Yeah. So, a combination of things, but I think one of them was discovering whether the hills or the runnable stuff was more where I sat, and so I think it helped me realize where some areas to work on were and where some specialties were. But also it made me. I also was a bit disappointed with Transvolcania. And then, Maxi race sort of went a little bit better for me, although still a long way behind Francois and Max and those guys. So it was really motivating, and Europe's just amazing, coming from New Zealand. So, more money and more time, and we might get back over there and give it another crack.
Yeah, it is kind of a long way from New Zealand to Western Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, and we get 4 weeks holiday, which is fantastic, but I'd love more. So if my employer's listening, hey, feel free to.
Hey there.
Hey.
Sam wants to go to Europe.
Yeah. it's good.
So let's talk New Zealand again. You came back, you had another go at the Kepler Challenge and your second win there.
Yeah.
Third podium, I believe.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, that was just pre-wedding, right?
It was, yeah. So I had a good build up to Kepler. Sort of didn't really do much for the couple of months before it, much racing. So that allowed, a good training block. And I wanted to give Kepler a really good crack this year, and I was really happy with the result. And the race went how I planned it, except for Andy was just flying up the hill, and I sort of wanted to lead most of the way, and then him and Stu, and then Stu Gibson flies past me as well. So I wasn't expecting so much competition so early on, but in the end it came off good.
Yeah, so how did that suss out? Because that race has got really two different parts to it. It's got like the mountainous first half and then the flat. Yeah. What is it? Almost 20 miles, something like that.
Yeah. It's very much. I think it's you could say it's 30k even.
Okay.
Which I don't know. Is that 20 miles?
Just
yeah,
under 20.
Just under 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was probably where I was fortunate that I'd run it before and knew that there was the mountain then the flat, and I think it was Stu and Andy's first time, whereas they went quite well on the hill, but I'd sort of reserved a little bit more for the flat, and I think that paid off for me in the race.
So here we are, it's the day before Tarawera. We've just had the Maori Pohiri welcome, and you represented the runners. You were the runners chief, being the fastest returning male. For me, watching that ceremony, like, there's some intensity to it. Like, you can kind of feel that intensity. What's going through your head the day before the race? You podiumed here last year. You probably got some goals inside your head. What's there right now? Yeah.
I suppose first thing was the Pohiri, the welcome, which is fantastic, and I'm very aware of New Zealand culture, but I am not a fluent Māori speaker. But I can follow along, and I think it's fantastic when they showcase New Zealand culture like that to the world. Like you say, there's some intensity there. It's a completely different experience that you can only get in New Zealand. And then also everyone's sitting there thinking, I've got to pony up tomorrow and run 100 k's, 100 miles or whatever. So I mean, I think this year's really hard. I mean, last year everyone knew Jim was going to crush it, and then everyone else is going to see where they fell in line. Whereas this year we've sort of got some awesome runners with Cody and Dylan and Vlad and stuff. And I don't know how it's going to unfold. So there's a lot of nerves, but I think it's also a long way, and I just have to go out and make sure I don't kill myself in the first 60, and then see how we go from there.
Yeah. So the course is flipped around. You get the more runnable stuff, and then the technical bit in the middle, and then the hilly close. Yeah.
I personally think it'll be a lot slower for a number of reasons. I mean, one, it's net uphill now rather than net downhill. There's been a little bit of precipitation over the last few days. We've managed to find a gap at the moment for this.
Yeah, but I think it's going to rain hard tonight, and maybe a little bit more during the race tomorrow.
Yeah, so at least it won't be too hot.
And the bright side.
Yeah, trying to find positives. And I think part of the track, the roads will be okay, but once you get on the trails, I'd say they'll be pretty slippery and slow. So I think it will be a combination of a runnable grind and sort of whoever can just get whoever starts feeling right in the midsection.
I mean, all the way until the last 5K, you're going through hills in the forest. Yeah. Like, there's it's runnable track, but there's hills. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think back 12 months, and when I remember coming down some hills, I'm trying to think we'll have to be going up those now, and I suppose vice versa. I think, again, after the top of Lake, is it Okitana? I seem to remember there was a little bit of downhill for quite a while, and so I presume that'll be a long grind uphill now. And that's going to be about 70 odd k in. So I think it will be a more challenging race. I would say times will be slower, but does that mean it'll be a tighter race or play into other people's hands better? We'll find out.
We'll find out. Well, that's a good way to end this. So good luck to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Megan.
And we'll find out.
Yeah, cool. Cheers.
See you out there.
Cheers.